And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Welcome to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. And here we are at fabulous Area 52 in beautiful Darby, Florida. Welcome to the show, folks. imho, in my humble opinion.love. That's what it's all about, man. The .love. After that, it's all love. And in my humble opinion, the show's about CE5 or HICE, human-initiated contact experiences or close encounters of the fifth kind. We have a little humor and some alternative news or alternative history or just something interesting, something a little out of the ordinary. And good to be here, man. This is the 7th of July, 2021. 7721. I'm sure that number means something to somebody. And welcome to the show. So tonight we're going to talk about the 100th monkey theory and a fascinating point of view in like a social experiment or something that you're undergoing right now. You're right in the middle of it, whether you know it or not. And just the I don't think anybody can help but notice the manipulation that's going on these days. It just is it's all very slippery, and those of us who can see are very much we're on alert. We're on alert. We can, for a long time we've known that's part baloney, but this is like 97% baloney. So anyway, here we are, folks. How you doing tonight, Mike?
I'm doing great, Lou. You doing good?
I'm fine. So whatever fine is, I don't mean I'm thin and svelte.
Fine. What was that word we were toying with last week? Never mind. It'll come to me later.
Okay. How's that eye coming along?
It's still blind, but it's. I'm seeing some light, so it's getting there. So
they relieve the pressure on that there.
No, it wasn't so much a pressure. It's just a matter of filling with blood. What happens is the eye tries to correct itself by growing new blood vessels into a tumor when the tumor was knocked out, and that it doesn't work that way.
Oh, okay.
It's got to go into the once you screw it up, you can't fix it. So the tumors go outside the retina, or the new capillaries come outside the retina and they grow around and into it, and then they will rupture and then fill the eye with blood.
Yeah.
And then you're screwed for a while.
Oh.
But luckily over time the body will absorb the blood through the bottom of the eye, just south of the retina, and it just takes a while. So now that I'm off of blood thinners and
yay!
Back to normal. Heart rate at about 66, 68.
Nice, like an athlete.
Yeah, it's getting more regular. So
you lost some weight.
Still losing.
Feel good, man. You're looking good.
Yeah, down about 30 pounds in 6 months. So
nice.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
you too.
I'm down 40 pounds in 8 months.
That's good. That's a good cycle. Yeah.
So yes, I feel so much better, and my clothes fit better, and I have more energy, and it's an amazing feeling. And I know I can kick it up a notch if I hit the gym a little harder, get a little more cardiovascular exercise in. But I've been mostly controlling it through a calorie deficit in my diet. I've just been watching what I eat and shutting it down before it gets out of hand.
Yeah, dietary mindfulness.
Dietary mindfulness. That's exactly what's going on.
That's exactly what it is.
And boy, it does feel nice, and very, very thankful for that simple guidance. It's like, it is one of those things. People always, every diet comes out, you don't have to count calories.
Bullshit.
And here's the big thing. What's the staggering part about counting calories? Your phone You ask your phone how much is in a piece of buttered toast, it'll tell you exactly to the nickel.
Yeah, well, the other thing is knowing what you're eating. You know, part
Yes.
of what I've done is, you know, I've thrown away all the rules. They used to say, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat processed food. But it's real easy for me when I come into the office. I'm hungry. I don't want to go out to eat,
Right?
and there's nothing there. So I grab a granola bar, 100 calories, big deal. I
Right.
eat it. It's done. I'm full. I'm not hungry.
Yep.
I'm not craving for foods. But that's contrary to your usual thought.
Right?
So, I know what I'm taking. After 5 or 6 of them in the day, I was like, that's 600 calories. That's enough.
Right.
But I know it's 600 calories.
Right.
So I know at that point in the day, I've had 1,200 calories, and I know that I've got like 1,400 calories for the rest of my day, and I just kind of figure it out from there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
making it
simple
easy.
head math. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, if they make it easy, then you don't need them.
Right.
If you don't need them, then they got to make an honest living.
I'm really grateful for the calorie counts on everything. I don't mind looking stuff up. And after a while, like 8 months, not that I'm not some runway model now, but still a little thick in the middle, but a lot better. And but you can't eat like you used to. I mean, my brother and we used to invade this Tiffany's restaurant up in Palm Harbor. And the guy always gives you big portions, but on top of that, he saw it was, the Dieter boys in there. So, and the food got even bigger, But literally, an omelet that you can't finish, and you have to take half of it home, an omelet, So, and it's so funny, right down the road, right across the way there, these little scrawny omelets, and you can finish them in like 4 bites. But anyway, enough of my yakking. But yeah, the calorie deficit stuff, and I thought, oh my gosh, this omelet's going to be way off the charts, and I added it up, and I was still within my range. So
Yeah, well, how you do it? You to figure out the kind of calories you need. It all depends if you're young or middle aged. Young, you take your weight, and if you're older or have a slower metabolism, you multiply it by 8.5.
okay,
And you get the number of calories you're required to maintain that weight during the day.
okay,
If you're younger and you're more active and you burn up calories, you take your weight and multiply it by 12.5, and that'll give you what your typical recommended needed amount of calories is for that day. So what you do is, if you want to lose weight, you just reduce the calories by 25%, 15 to 25%. And that won't trigger the starvation mode that your body will have if you cut it any less than that.
okay,
So if you know what your calorie requirements are, and you cut up by 25% and over, which is what you've done, and essentially that's exactly what I've done.
yeah.
You're going to lose weight.
What it does, it creates, if you have a 500 calorie a day deficit, you're gonna wind up with 3,500 calories saved at the end of the week, which will denote a 1.5 to 2 pound weight loss that week.
Yeah, that'll be a pound.
A pound?
So yeah, it's 3,500 calories.
Okay.
So you're good. The other thing is, people don't realize that how I became morbidly obese was over the course of 25 years, taking in 75 calories per day more than what I needed.
Really?
Over time that adds up, and over
Yes.
time that added up to well over 100 pounds. So people don't realize that what you do every day matters. So just you can every now and then throw on a binge, because your body, you can eat 6,000 calories, but your body can only digest and process 1,500 calories over what it normally requires.
Right.
So it's like the additional calories is like a glutton's gift, because you don't put it on. You only put on 1,500 calories out of that 6. So
Okay.
you can feast, and it's not going to matter much. But if you do that as a regular, do it all the time, or you have that glass of wine at the end of the day, or the beer or two at the end of the day, that's a 75 to 100 extra calories a day. If you're not burning it off, it's going to add up on you, and after a while it'll get you.
Hard liquor adds up too.
Well, I'd rather drink hard liquor than anything else, because you go to a bar and you're going to watch a championship game or something. You're going to be sitting there for maybe 2.5 hours, and during that period of time, you'll maybe have 4 beers, maybe 5, and it 150 calories a pop. that's a 750 calorie sitting on your ass event.
Sure.
So, but if you go in and you have 2 shots of Jack Daniels, it's 95 calories a shot, and with a Diet Coke on the side, you can sip your Jack for 2.5 hours while you're watching the game and have your diet on the side. And everybody's looking at you going, holy Christ, he's, what a man. He's drinking Jack Daniels and watching the football game. And they're going, yeah, I just saved myself 550 calories, by doing this.
Sure.
So, you got to go with, you got to go against traditional wisdom. Another thing is that,
traditional marketing.
Traditional marketing, right.
Right.
Which, we like
Moreover.
to believe is wisdom, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is the use of fats in the diet. Up until last year, fats were still questionable. They say, okay, eat avocado. And it's like, well, screw you, You go get an avocado and prepare it and do all that stuff. Make love to your avocados because they're all fucking hard and not ripe when I buy them. And by the time I get around to eating them, they're blue.
Right.
Black stuff oozing out of them.
You're too busy of a guy for the avocado program.
So, but the thing is that what I've learned how to do is when I'm making an omelet, throw in some broccoli, throw in a little bit of cheese for flavoring, and they have diet cheese now, which is very good and very easy to obtain. 35 calories a slice, and then and you throw in some crushed bacon bits. So you don't eat a whole couple pieces of bacon. You just throw some bits in for flavor. There's fat there. Mm-hmm. The fat's going to keep you from being hungry for at least the next 5 or 6 hours. At least if it's an animal fat. And it doesn't add that many calories to what you're eating. So you're getting all the protein you need. You're getting your roughage, and then you're getting your animal fats, which is going to keep you from being hungry.
Nice.
3 years ago, they would say, no, you can't do that. You can't put bacon in that thing. You just stick with the, with the proteins. And it's like, no, your body starts starving, and it's working too hard to break down the proteins, and it throws things out of balance. So go with some fats. It's all good for you.
And ladies and gentlemen, Mike obviously has studied this deeply. And for those of you who don't know, he was a finalist on the TV show The Biggest Loser, and he was exposed to every type of weight loss, counseling, exercise, incredible feat in his life. How long was the show, Mike?
The show lasted for 9 months, but I also set a weight loss record on the show that hasn't been equaled.
Ah.
Yeah.
You lost 150 pounds.
No, the weight loss that was unequaled was I lost 38.5 pounds in 9 days.
38.
Wow. And I did it with a cast on my leg because I blew out my knee.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It's like just decided to.
Did the Rocky theme song play when you entered the room?
No, but it was like, when you think you're gonna get an easy break to do this, you just you didn't. You got stuck on it,
buddy. And the adversity that you have faced in your life is just tremendous, and I got all the respect in the world for you. And so, folks, if you're watching this show, you're more than welcome to like, share, subscribe, share it, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to. It shows up on other formats as well as Facebook Live. It goes to YouTube. BitChute, that's imho.love on BitChute. There's a Facebook page, and of course the mothership is imho.love, the website. We keep you posted, and just kind of take a little time to acknowledge these life efforts that you're making. And if you're feeling a little pudgy, a lot of people did from last year. They sat around the house and they watched tunnel vision and ate badly, and a lot of people put on some weight, and it's time to take it off. It's just time to take it off. My brother's doing good too. He's down about 20 pounds, I think.
Great.
And I brought this up to him the other night. I go, I says, you ever notice something? You don't see any old fat people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't make it. They don't get to be old.
Right.
So you got to be.
Well, it's like you have an F-150. Okay.
Okay.
You got a V8 with your whatever transmission that comes in that thing.
Yeah.
Okay. If you throw, it's a 2-ton truck, right?
Right.
Or 1.5 2-ton truck.
Right.
That means it's made to carry up to 2 tons.
Yes.
So if you keep the bed of that truck empty, that truck is going to last forever.
Yes.
Because there's no strain on the metal in the engine.
Yep.
Okay? But if you haul around 2,000 pounds or 4,000 pounds in that truck every single day, how long is that going to last?
You're going to wear it out.
It's going to die real quick. You'll be lucky to get 100.
You'll be wearing the brakes out. You'll be wearing the tires out, the steering apparatus.
Well, same thing happens with the human body. You know, I suffered from obesity for many, many years, so I've got an arthritic back and I have arthritic knees, which is not a lot of fun to deal with when the hurricanes come.
Sure.
But it does the same thing to the body, and it wears out the elasticity of your cardiovascular system. You know, so you get high blood pressure. When you get high blood pressure, not good things happen. The other thing is in storing fat, you invite cancers to come in because what cancer feeds on is fat and sugars.
Oh, it loves fat.
Yeah, so, you know, that's... and speaking of the tumors, there was, I think I posted on the IMHO website, Facebook, about the, you know, the not only 5G, but radio frequencies and cell phones and the growth of tumors in female breast cells, among other things. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so bottom line is if you have one of these things and it's around you and you're not using it, put it on airplane mode. And keep the radio waves from shocking the crap out of your system. It used to be thought that if it didn't heat you up, it didn't change things, but they found that there's effects even on children, especially on small children, when they put these things up to their head, because their heads are so small, it affects a greater portion of the brain. It changes the cellular densities or the cellular structures. And a larger portion of the brain for children than it does for adults, so it's even more deadly for children. So I think I posted on that as well. If not, I'll get it up there. But good things to know. And if you don't know, I post a lot of what we're going to be discussing, what we discuss on the imho.love website on Facebook. So, you know, one of the things, you know, I posted, I tried to find it again, and it didn't come up, but I posted a video last week done by Rupert Sheldrake, who about morphic resonance. And after I watched the video, it occurred to me that, hey, what he's talking about is essentially the same thing as the 100th monkey.
Okay.
And the 100th monkey is you know, by definition, a hypothetical phenomenon in which a new behavior or idea is spread rapidly by unexplained means from one group to all related groups. Once a critical number of members of one group exhibits a new behavior or acknowledges the new idea, then it becomes prevalent in another. And what Sheldrake was doing, as you know, he became like an enemy of the people because he was doing research in the areas that he found natural to him. I mean, you know, the guy graduated from Cambridge and got his PhD at Harvard. He's no slouch. But when he came out with the theory of morphic resonance, it was such an affront to
morphic resonance.
And what happened was it became such an affront to the established scientific community and the established pharmacological community and all the people that fund science, that they shunned him and tried to make sure he'd never get a job again anywhere. So he ended up going to India and doing real science, and he came in contact with people like Krishnamurti and the Eastern philosophers and thinkers, and it seemed that the way he was thinking was very much in tune with the Eastern philosophies. So by definition, morphic resonance is a process by which a self-organizing system inherit a memory from previous similar systems. Now, mind you, in the 100th monkey, they call it a hypothetical phenomenon. It's not a hypothetical phenomenon. It's a scientifically proved reality. Okay. And even though he couldn't get adequate funding for, a really highly expensive workup on this because he was devoid of funding, he had to go to people that were a fan of his that he actually met through the Jungian societies. They were very attuned to what he was doing with morphic resonance.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and this is where you see it all come together. The show, Jungian, we're talking morphic resonance. We're taking a popular cultural meme known as the 100th monkey. And then all of a sudden, I have a brainstorm to tie it all together. and see the connection of it all. Now, one of the things I also published this week, maybe it's on my own site, but I'll try to dig it up. Been a busy week. Is that they found that by using harmonic resonances with we've seen what it does to water and sand.
Yes, that's fascinating.
But they're doing it now with human tissue to create new tissue in the petri dish to implant into people that have cellular lesions. To make them better, and that's it's groundbreaking. They're finally realizing that, the 432 megahertz, all this stuff that we in the fringe have been talking about for years is like, wait a minute, this is working.
Yes,
this is all working. What's going on here? And they can't explain it, and this is where it dovetails with non-local consciousness and quantum physics and quantum realities. And the existence of consciousness. What is it that connects all this that creates the results? I mean, what is it about the space-time highway that we can actually change the results of an experiment today by going back into the past and re-experiencing the present? It not only changes the result of the experiments, but it changes what has been written down as the data for that experiment as well.
Wow.
That's John Wheeler. Yeah, this stuff is real. It's frickin' mind-boggling when you see that what's going on between what you see and what you don't see.
Yes.
Okay? 150 years ago, if they said we have radio waves, people would say, huh? I mean, what are you talking about? We just discovered air. I mean, how do you expect us to handle radio waves?
Right.
So we're at the cusp of some brilliant science that's going to be going on, and it's if ET doesn't just short wire the system and give us all the answers. But I mean, if they don't, we're in a very promising position. Now, what morphic resonance? Part of the proof of morphic resonance that Sheldrake comes to explain is that over time. Substances that have not been around for a while, like things that have been around for a while, are like are old crystalline formations, like salt, sodium chloride. They're stable crystals. There's not much change in it. So things like silica, magnesium, aluminum, the things that make up sand, silicates like that. They're generally inert, so the boiling points of these molecular structures are fairly constant and consistent and stable. However, based on his experimentation, he found that the boiling points of newly discovered chemicals and newly discovered pharmaceuticals increased over time. They're supposed to be set in stone, literally, but they're not. And one of the things he found was that in the manufacture of cocaine, that over time the boiling point of cocaine, without any other explanation, was that the boiling point for cocaine rose 12 degrees, which is an incredible amount, to raise a substance in just a matter of 20 years. And he went back to experiment with other things as well. So this is not something that just exists in somebody's mind. It exists and it's being proved in science. And why is it a danger? Well, the implications of this are that, and in his experiments, one of the experiments he did was it was given to him by somebody who won a contest that they said, they said, you give you $10,000 if you come up with the best pure science test to do this. So what they ended up doing was, one of the tests was they would take the crossword puzzle from the London Times, which was not available in another part of England. This is before the internet.
Yes.
And they found that they got it in advance, so they could administer the test in Scotland and or in England and in London at the same time. And they found that if the The tests were administered at the same time as the crossword puzzles came out. There was no difference in the rate of success.
Okay.
Okay. However, if the crossword puzzles came out and everybody in London had a chance to do them, all right, and then they did this test out in Scotland, they found that the people in Scotland got them much more quickly, statistically much higher than they did normally.
Beautiful.
So the morphic resonance is this group learns this and another group benefits from it.
Wow.
Okay, so that's and all of a sudden, essentially,
that's gorgeous, man.
Well, it is. It is making the hypothetical phenomena in which a new behavior or idea is spread by unexplained means. It brings it to a point where there are explained means. We know what they are now. We know what to call them, but we're not really quite sure how they work. No. So what are the implications of this? Okay, let's go to COVID today.
Okay.
Okay. All of a sudden, you got all these people taking vaccines.
Yep.
Okay, bunch of people taking vaccines. What does morphic? What is the morphic resonance? What'll it have to do with that?
Well, it'll increase in more people taking vaccines.
Or, aside from that, what it will do is that the people that have taken the vaccines will, as a group, benefit those who have not. Okay.
Okay.
And conversely, those who have not taken the vaccine will positively affect those who do.
Okay.
Okay, and they talk about herd immunity. They know what it is, but they don't know how it operates.
Okay.
It's morphic resonance. Okay, so what Sheldrake has done, he's also taken it to the level of epigenetics.
That's mind-blowing.
It is. And he takes it to the level of epigenetics. And he did an experiment where he takes the Drosophila fly and exposes it to ether. And the next generation, instead of having 2 wings and a balancing appendage, they end up creating 4 wings. Okay? And these 4 wings continue to be inherited by the next generation in higher and higher numbers until eventually it winnows its way down. But if they're continued,
and this happened in a controlled time.
Yeah, it's all happened in controlled experiments. This is all
Wow.
real science, So let's dovetail this into what are the implications for? We already discussed it about COVID. But what are the implications for CE5 now? Okay,
Wow.
You get a group of people that are doing CE5, and you get a big enough group of people that's doing CE5. So I remember, Celia Hatch saying, I had to do this for 3 years before I saw my first UFO.
Right.
And that she was a pioneer in this.
Sure.
And then after a while, you have these different CE5 groups forming. Everybody's learning how to do it, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, more and more people are having the experience, and the new groups are finding it easier and easier to make contact.
Yes, absolutely.
Our first year out here, it was like, oh wow, we had 1 sighting tonight. We sat around for 12 hours for a sighting, and now it's like, what's coming next?
Right.
So
a little Whitman sampler up there sometimes.
Right. So we're experiencing the morphic resonance by doing CE5. Now I think the same thing with meditation. And at what point in time does the whole 100th monkey paradigm start to apply to political situations?
Wow.
That's why they're afraid of it. Okay.
Yes.
You can apply it to all these different categories, and it appears to work across the board. So that's why I selected the 100 monkey thing tonight.
That's beautiful, man. And we talk all the time about how everything happens on a cellular level, and you have these significant changes in physicalities, in social bearing, mindsets. I mean, it's amazing what this morphic resonance is about, and it's interesting that we get to parlay it into this part of the show. There's something you all can do. Mike and I will be doing it. There's an organization out there on July 19th, firethegrid2.org. Now, what this is a lady that has, she says she's been informed by interdimensional beings that on this particular day of July 19th, 2021, coming right up, it's like a Monday and a half from now, okay? You go to firethegrid2.org. That's FIRETHEGRID, the number 2.org. And then you'll get the full story. And what this is throughout the 24 time zones of the Earth, we're all going to meet together at 11:11 Greenwich Mean Time. And the only instruction that you have, now if you're here, like we're on the East Coast of the United States, down in Florida, so that would be 7:11 our time. If you're in Central, 6:11 Mountain, 5:11 Pacific, 4:11 a.m. July 19th. Okay? All you have to do for that hour is do something that brings you joy, and do something fun, and do something that warms your heart for that 1 hour.
Well, good. So while I'm masturbating at the 7-Eleven...
Well, I think, yeah. If that really makes you happy, then
kidding.
you should do it.
Well, each to his own. But it was like the 7-Eleven at 7-Eleven. Wait a minute. There's something about that number.
Yeah, that's some harmonic resonance. But whatever it is you want to do, you want to visit your grandchildren, you want to go sit with your mom, which I think was what I'm probably going to do.
And don't masturbate at 7-Eleven. That was a joke.
You have to
that was a joke.
talk to guys in Chevy Blazers at that point. But that time, all you have to do is sit and be happy. And if we get millions of people doing this, which is very possible, or maybe hundreds, who knows? It doesn't really matter. But the unification, because we do live on an energy grid that covers the whole Earth. And when you heat up your little section of the grid, your little hexagonal area, and you fill your heart with joy and love and happiness and laughter and peace and serenity and tranquility, and we're all doing that harmoniously and simultaneously within the same hour on the same planet, you can make connections in the harmonic grid that covers the whole Earth. Now, because it's based in happiness, okay, happiness is akin to peace, happiness is akin to innocence, so all of these vibrations are going to aid the planet, and all you've got to do is get up for an hour and do something that you love. If you want to make love to whomever you make love to, if you want to take a really hot bath, if you want to go for a walk on the beach, if you want to walk in the sand in your shoes, without your shoes, and play in the mud, whatever it is, you want to ride your bicycle, your motorcycle.
Cooking breakfast.
Cooking breakfast is fine. If you love cooking breakfast, do something that you love. But do no chore. Do something for an hour that brings you joy. Watch Viagra sales shoot right up.
Yeah,
but anyway.
It's your hour of Shabbos. Shabbos.
I'm a Shabbos goy. But, so, that happens, ladies and gentlemen, on July 19th, like I said, a Monday and a half from now. East Coast of United States, 7:11 a.m. Wake up, do something fun for an hour. And you'll be in harmony with so many other people across the world. Fire the Grid 2 is the actual thing. Fire the Grid 2, the number 2.org. Look it up. Watch the videos. They're really fantastic. You're going to have to type it in directly. Again, something they're afraid of. They're making it, you have to hit this site in a couple of attempts, because it'll show nothing, and you go back 2 or 3 times, it'll finally show up. So that always tells me that we're on to something when it's hard to get to. So do that with me and Mike. The other show that I just started taping today, Cosmic Surf Shack, that will be, we're going to promote that on that show as well. We don't have an air date for that yet, but imho.love is going to be here every Wednesday night. We try to make most Wednesday nights. We're both busy guys. Sometimes we can't get to it, but we love you and we appreciate your patience and everybody that stays with us. And I love the comments during the week and the emails and the notes and all that stuff. It's just, Mike and I, the show isn't edited. We don't monetize it. We are beholden to no one. We have, we say things tastefully as to stick within community standards, whatever those are.
Well, you do.
Oh, that's right.
I've got no expectations to live up to.
And you're a smart enough attorney, you can wiggle yourself out of it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah. And by the way, folks, if you need any Social Security or disability law information, representation, disabilityattorney.net, disabilityattorney.net. That's Mike's site. If you have questions, put them in. He answers them. Really, really fit. You
24/7.
You don't even find guys like this in the world anymore.
Yeah, I broke the mold. Hey, getting back to Sheldrake again.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, he's, I mentioned Krishnamurti and the other names are escaping me right now, but he got involved in the whole consciousness as elemental to reality.
I got to check something. Go ahead.
Early on this, and one of the quotes that I like that he gives are, "We are energy and we are electromagnetic entities." So, and that's exactly what we are. So if you wonder how firing the grid is going to be in any way related to you, remember that you are energy and you're connected to an electromagnetic field, which is essentially what we accentuate when we do CE5s and get together and circulate the energy and project it in our conscious thought sequencing. So, so he's got all the bases covered. If you want to check and see the video out, I'll make sure it's reposted again on imho.love. And find your way to firing the grid. And it was started up by a bunch of really wonderful people. They're friends of the show, and we hope it works. It'd be funny though.
What's
you
that?
fire up the grid, and all of a sudden you got this guy who's serving a life sentence on death row or something, and he's like, all of a sudden he's like, "Wow, I feel really happy today."
Well, you never know where the morphic resonance is going to land.
You really don't.
Yeah.
You don't,
And one of the things, the show kind of has like a little bit of an old hippie vibe. You kind of got to learn to accept things as they are. The world comes at you as you venture through it, and you have to respond to the way that it comes at you. So that's the secret to adjusting and accepting the way things really are. You can relieve so much stress. You can relieve so much trouble. Well, one of the things that the firethegrid2.org people, their main purpose, the main message that they're trying to send is do no harm. Do no harm. I love that Blues Brothers clip. There's help ever, hurt never. Or maybe that's Hard Rock Cafe. I can't remember. Anyway, but do no harm is it's 3 words you can completely live by. And you have to do your best at these things. And there are days that you're going to hurt people's feelings or fall short of a goal or whatever. But I think the angle there is purposefully not do any harm. I mean, if you make a mistake, you make a mistake, or if you're insensitive, you're insensitive. But the do no harm it's an imperative thing, and whether we see it in our life or not, it will be the major resonance of a peaceful planet, whatever that looks like. We are here. We've been sent here during this time, during this technology, during this ability to share this information, even though, there's nothing new under the sun. And the things that Mike and I talk about, they're not hard to source, and they're not hard to check.
Like before there was the Hard Rock Cafe with do no harm, there was something known as the Hippocratic Oath.
Yes.
So that goes back too. So, you're right. Where the planet is awakening, and part of what we need to do is awaken, and hopefully the 100th monkey effect will take over and take its effect, so that our boiling points will, like the chemicals in the crystalline structures, will rise. It's going to take more to get us upset, more to get us offended.
Yes.
Right now, the powers that be are trying to lower that boiling point artificially.
Yes.
By injecting, race and color and
separation.
And they're injecting that purposefully into the society to lower the boiling point, when in fact we should be raising the boiling point through mindfulness, through mediation, through ET non-human contact. That's the awakening that the planet needs, so that we become ready to accept our place in the hierarchy of universal beings and planets that are connected throughout space and time, through the entirety of the multiverse. I mean, without that quantum leap in awareness, not only of self, but awareness of others, and awareness of others to others who aren't even on this planet, or we cannot see with regular vision. Once we're there, then we're ready to be assimilated. But right now, all the UFO stuff we're getting is, hey, it's all a threat. And a friend of mine got a chance to send me the Office of the Director of National Intelligence Preliminary Assessment on Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. This is 9 pages.
9 pages.
Yeah, this is like you
100 years of UFO reports.
Right, exactly.
9 pages.
This is right. This is like sending somebody else out who's had 70 years to work on their PhD thesis, and then it's time for it to be due, and they give you 9 pages. It's like,
well, that's the attention span of the Americans. Right. It really is.
Yeah, and it ends up essentially with,
let me read that title again. It's so beautiful. Listen to this. From the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the preliminary assessment of unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Okay, watch.
But it's unclassified.
Right, this is Karnak, okay? What is a threat?
This is the flaming flag of a false flag.
Yeah.
Right there. It's about to come.
Right, and I watched Greer's movie the other night. I found it. I'm not a Greer fan, but I think he's a good movie.
Yeah, I think he's spot on with this, though, brother.
Yeah, I think he is. He did a great job at it. I'll give kudos when kudos is done.
Exactly, and it's because you're the gentleman that you are.
Well, sometimes. But thanks.
But the thing with Dr. Greer is, love him, don't love him, like him, only kind of like him, whatever. The guy's got time in on the job.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And he's also been in the game long enough to either be bought out completely, or this is just his best acting job yet.
Yeah.
So everything's a damn illusion these days.
Well, I get a little, I don't get really upset, but I get concerned. Okay, I'll find another word for it. Reality is, I wonder about the guy. All these pictures of people sitting in the lotus position with their fingers like this and doing that, that's all bullshit.
Right.
That's all bullshit. We know better than that. We can be in our sleeping bags and do a cognitive resonance and send it up and have ET show.
Yeah.
No holding hands, no sitting around in a lotus position, no chanting or nothing.
It's got some marketing going there.
It's just, well, the thing is that, you know, if you're going to charge people money, you got to make it like,
There's some theatrics.
yeah, make it worth something. But
Sure.
we know better than that. And that's what gripes me, is because, you know, all the while that he might have the opportunity to democratize CE5, which is one of what we do,
Right.
by making it as easy as possible and getting as good of results as possible. Other people there are still making it complicated and thinking it's their way is the way. I mean, you got Rama. You know, Rama's out in Shasta. They want people to come. It's great. It works. Okay, but it's not. The best system is your system.
Yes.
Whatever works for you.
Amen.
You know. And,
Sure.
You know, you don't.
Well,
have
there's 387 strands of Christianity in the United States. Protestantism churches, 387 different churches. There's Northern Baptist Church of Minnesota. I mean, this goes on and on and on. The Flower Church of California. All these brands of Protestantism, all thinking that they've got, now we finally got the rap on it. Now that we've revised that Constitution from those old guys who were way wrong.
Well, we're like the Methodists of CE5. We'll do whatever is convenient.
Well, so, and really what I'm noticing in life is that the more organic you let things be, the more you face the world with an open heart, open mind, and open hands, okay, you're just gonna have a better pass. Your passing through is going to be a lot easier. There's such wonderful energy, and I think I've shared this on the show before, but excuse me if I repeat myself. People always look in the Bible and they see the story of Moses, and Moses never got to see the promised land. They wandered 40 years in the desert. This is according to the scripture, okay? And then they had the big showdown of the gods that were there. There was the god of Yah, and then there was the god of Baal. And were having this big contest on what was what. Well, the god of Yah told Moses, speak to the rock and water will flow through it. Okay? So, and then the prophets of Baal, they doused all their rocks, but they couldn't get the flame to come, whatever. It's a whole big story. But here's the hinge, and not many people pick up on this. The whole reason that happened was because of ego. Okay? Moses was told to speak to the rock and the water will flow. Moses took it upon himself to strike the rock.
Yeah.
And then the water flowed because that's what Yah said would happen, okay, in this instance to prove who he was. But Moses added some ego to it, like he had the power, like he had the magic stick, like he was the divine.
Well, let's face it, that stick did turn into a viper in front of the
badass
Pharaoh.
stick.
I mean,
It's
dude,
a badass stick. I'll give you that.
He's doubting God. He's going to rely on what's worked for
I don't
him.
know, the stick.
You know, yeah.
That's a badass stick. I'll
Yeah,
give you
man.
that. But
Hey, you know,
But what that what that teaches me is even that level of humility is important to the universe and the general operation of things.
yeah.
So I've been forever grateful. I've been forever thankful. But all that stuff is really turning up now. And folks, this has been happening in my life for a while. I'm very thankful for everything that happens. Good days, bad days, painful days, joyous days, whatever it is, be thankful for it. Because the day that you might have some issues and trouble and stress, chances are something came upon you that day that you could learn a lesson from and that you should learn a lesson from. So even though days are stressful, you can learn all this wonder, you can learn all this joy amidst your own chaos. And then when you notice, oh man, I did really well amidst my own chaos, and you feel a little better a bit about yourself. You feel just a little more supercharged. And the other thing is that I've noticed is praise. When you see somebody doing a good job, Tell them they're doing a good job. It's just a sentence out of your mouth. But that one little sentence can mean so much to somebody, especially if it's somebody that that they're not in the kind of loop where they hear those kind of things, where the consciousness of that isn't present in their surroundings. But you, peaceful one, warrior of the earth, looking, seeking, tending to all humanity, a simple compliment, a simple acknowledgement of somebody's efforts, somebody's, if they're bringing you joy, if they're bringing you happiness, if they're bringing you a cup of coffee, there should always be a thankful note at the end. Thank you. Okay? And these are simple things, folks, like the firethegrid2.org. Very simple thing, but extraordinarily powerful. We'll be talking about that again next week. Mike, your 100th monkey theory is spot on, bro.
It's reality now.
It's totally reality. Ladies and gentlemen, we are having a CE5 this weekend. It's probably going to be a little squishy out there in the field.
We'll see how bad it gets. I graded the field in September, October, so it's going to be properly, it should be properly drained.
Well, I'll be here Saturday to cut the grass.
Okay.
Okay. And I got a busy weekend. I picked up a couple of shows at McCurdy's Comedy Theater on Friday night.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to zoom back up here, tend to the grounds, and then I go do a show down at the library, which is at the Sheraton in Punta Gorda, and then I'll zoom back for the second half of the CE5 that night.
Cool.
All weather permitting, of course.
Cool.
But so happy to be so busy on doing all these wonderful things that I love. And I don't know whether I manifested it. I think I did. Or whether I'm just taking the blessings of other people's manifestations all around.
Yeah, you've been following the Tao.
I have been following the Tao, and man, it just makes life so much easier.
It does. Here, I got the Taoist translation for that episode of Moses and the Rock.
Okay.
If you do not trust and abide in the Tao, there will be no flow.
Ah!
How's that? For
Exactly right. Exactly right.
I got something that's worth reading. What I like to do is to end these shows, because going on the air with you years ago, one of my goals was to spread the Tao as well as I could. So one of the readings tonight is from the Wahoo Ching. It's chapter 5. This is a condensation of what's in there. But this writer, whom I like, does a good job of condensing it. So, and the entry is in chapter 5, and it says, "Do you imagine the universe is agitated? Go into the desert at night and look out at the stars. This practice should answer the question. The superior person settles her mind as the universe settles the stars in the sky. By connecting her mind with the subtle origin, she claims it. Once claimed, it naturally expands, and ultimately her mind becomes as vast and immense as the night sky." Which, segueing into science once again, do you know that they found that there's no explanation for it, but they recently found that galaxies at one end of the universe are spinning in the exact same manner, fashion, time, space, and direction as unrelated galaxies in another part of the universe. And the hypothesis is that there's a non-local consciousness going on in these galaxies, and what they're sharing is a morphic resonance.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the
That's gold, man.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. I mean, this shit's going on, and they're rediscovering reality.
Right. Absolutely.
And the farther we look into it with the machines and science that we have, the greater the confirmation is that everything that we've said here today is true, and it's based on a reality that is being brought forth in the sciences every day, just as we speak.
Man. Well, thank you, Mike. That's some awesome work you did this week. We good?
Yeah, we're good. That was
Okay.
thank you.
You're quite welcome. Absolutely. I don't want to leave something out. You're very profound, man.
Yeah.
Om. Yes, Om. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. You can, the show's going to be on Facebook Live. We leave it up here. You gets transferred over to YouTube when Kathy McGuire, our lovely producer, moves all those things over. And we're also on BitChute. That's BITCHUTE, BitChute.com. The show is also broadcast on Podbean. If you don't want to look at us, that's fine. You can just listen to us. So if you're on the Podbean. And there's one more format too.
YouTube, Podbean.
YouTube, Podbean, BitChute. Oh, imho.love itself, the actual website. And we thank you all so much for tuning in. The communications are fabulous. Remember what we say most shows, sometimes I forget. Use your head, trust your gut, and your heart will take you home. So, and that's what we're hoping to do. FireTheGrid2.org, July 19th, 7:11 in the morning. You guys are awesome. We love you. We love your monkey resonance. Don't think of yourself as an ugly person. Think of yourself as a beautiful monkey. All right, baby. Thanks, everybody. We love you.